Blessings and greetings, greetings and blessings, blessed souls. We're live in this most existential moments with the intent of hopefully being configured to Torah Chaim, instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness, Torah Racham, instructions of mercies. Since it's Chanukah, and now we've lit the third candle for Chanukah last night, which corresponds to the spheritic reality, consciousness of Tiferes, which is primarily expressed not just as a matter of beauty, a quality of beauty, but pertaining to the learning of Torah. And one of the distinctive features of the Festival of Lights, Chanukah, is that we increase in our study of Torah just as much as we increase in our offering of praises of the Creator. I'd like to share with you teachings from a wonderful 2-volume set of English translated Chassidic discourses known as Maamar by Rabbi David Rothschild, who lives in Sfat, Israel, one of the holy cities, 4 holy cities living in the Holy Land, And this is a Chassidic discourse delivered by the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe Shalom Schneersohn, who lived from 1860 till he went to the next level of life in 1920. This particular discourse he delivered in 56-54, which corresponds to 1893. Let's get on with the presentation. And this is not the whole presentation, but it'll be part of it. Hopefully we're going to continue with the blessings of the Most High. We start off in this discourse, as the Rebbe Rashab did, quoting from a Talmudic tractate, the Tractate of Shabbat from the Babylonian Talmud, page 21, side B, and also mentioned in the Mishnah Torah penned by the Nesher Gadol, the great eagle Maimonides, in his Hilchot Chanukah, chapter 4, law 5, the laws of Chanukah. When do we light Chanukah candles? The Talmud responds, from the time the sun sets until the expiration of the feet from market. Rabbi Yochanan clarifies, until the feet of the Talmudites are terminated. Support for this ruling is found in the verse in Shmos, Shmos, Exodus. Quote, the pillar of fire by night, end of quote. And you can learn more about that by going to the books of Exodus, say for Shmos, chapter 13, verse 22. Since Creator provided the Israelites with light at night, we can deduce that menorah should be lit after sunset. For after the Israelites left Egypt, they didn't need the sunlight during the day, nor the moonlight at night. Throughout the day, they were enveloped on all sides by holy clouds, radiated by the divine presence. At night, a pillar of fire descended before them. And this is from Braita de Mazalot on the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 22. There is an opposite interpretation of this verse. The Gemara relates, or the Talmud relates, that Rabbi Yosef's wife lit Shabbos candles the last minute before sunset. He scolded her and remarked, isn't it taught he did not remove the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night from before the people? This teaches us the pillar of cloud, the clouds of glory, and on Yaakov completed the pillar of fire. Adding to this discussion, enriching it, of course, is the classic commentator Rashi, who explained the daytime pillar of the cloud, the Anani Yaakov, the clouds of glory, added its light to the nighttime pillar of fire. The pillar of fire arrived before the pillar of cloud departed, and we see that this is the way of the world. The pillar of fire arrived early. And this is now quoting from the Tractate of Shabbat, the Babylonian Talmud, page 23, side A. The pillar of light arrived early during the daytime when the pillar of cloud was still functioning. In a similar manner, Shabbat candles must be lit while it's still daylight, even though their purpose is to illuminate the night. So we understand the pillar of fire was principally for the evening when the Israelites were in the desert, but the fire we see, that very fire which illuminated their nighttime, came before the full evening. Now we know that the temple's menorah was likewise kindled before sunset. It would primarily burn in the nighttime, but it was lit before sunset. In fact, its candles were a full 75 minutes before nightfall. Yet the sages instituted the lighting of Chanukah candles after sunset. So we see there's a great contrast, blessed souls, between the lighting of the candelabra in the temple, or the tabernacle, the Mishkan or the Mikdash. And yet the light was principally to be burned into the evening. But when it came to the Chanukah lights, precisely our sages of Israel deemed it be worthy that we light the candles after sunset. In doing so, they seem to violate their own principle that rabbinical enactments must be in line with standing Torah laws. Why didn't they follow the precedent set by the temple's menorah and Shabbat candles, which is actually something we do every year when one of the days of Chanukah falls out on Friday afternoon. We light before darkness, just as our wives and our daughters, and those of us who are single, men, will light before darkness while it's still daytime. Now, lighting the temple's menorah is one of the Torah's 613 commandments. You shall take pure oil, pressed for illumination, to continuously kindle a light. And the tradition of Shabbos candles actually antedated Chanukah lights by at least 1,500 years. For the Midrash tells us, for example, that our matriarchs, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel and Leah, lit them before each Shabbat. What's more, how can the pillar of fire by night verse prove that Chanukah candles should be lit after sunset? Doesn't the full verse say, quote, he did not remove the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night from before the people? That is, the pillar of fire appeared before sunset. And since fire causes light, the mitzvah of Chanukah light should also occur before sunset. How can we resolve this dilemma? Because after all, blessed souls, the lighting of the menorah of Chanukah is a recollection of the restoration of the service in the temple, where the service of the lighting of the menorah, one of the 613 commandments, was in fact lit before it was dark. In fact, 75 minutes before darkness. So with that being said, blessed, we're going to pick it up, hopefully, in the near future, to continue this dialogue. I know that for some who are more accustomed to just reading the literal verses in the scripture of the prophets, will find perhaps these oral Torah reasonings a little bit beyond the usual linear presentation as it appears in scripture. However, this is the nature of Torah. In some places it is convoluted and can actually become quite terse while it's becoming more difficult, and at the same time it's copious in its flow of information for us. But the main thing is for us to set aside our previous level of consciousness to ascend to a new level, and especially within the wonderful world of Chassidus, which is meant for every human being as a potent antidote to break the shell of consciousness which seeks to divide and conquer us, to not comprehend and internalize that every fiber of the creation is permeated with godliness. May we be successful in endeavors to spread this awareness in the way of Ahava Chad, one love, Gorel Echad, one destiny, Kolana for all of us, Darkin Darki Shalom, Bezrim Lahamshich. And I have to remind everyone, and I have to remind myself, or anyone else, I've got to be good, you've got to be good, we've all got to be good. Because the Tevel Tov, the Hativ, it's the nature of the good to do good. And since the Creator so patiently waits for us to do something good, let's do it. Just concluding as well, I didn't mention at the beginning of this humble presentation, which hopefully I'll improve in terms of presentation and content, is today's presentation is dedicated, and now was dedicated, and will always be dedicated for the Ilan Nishmas, my dear mother-in-law, Maras Rivka Fortuna Alei Shalom Bas Daniel, Alei Shalom, and Abochra Tamim Eliyahu, Ben Menachem Mendel, Hashem Yinkom Doma, Ba'ofen Kitzon Rani Shachne Afar. Take care, everyone.